Absolutely, when we start seeing soldiers outfitted with exoskeletons, these wearable machines that can boost strength, endurance, and even battlefield awareness, it really does feel like we're stepping into the territory of the superhuman army. But let's dig into what that actually means, not just in terms of sci-fi imagery but in real technological, ethical, and even psychological terms. Just imagine, for a moment, carrying a 100-pound pack through rough mountain terrain. For most humans, that's impossible, right? Now, with a powered exosuit, a soldier might not only carry that weight but do it for hours, maybe even days, without suffering the same muscular fatigue or injury. That's not a small tweak, that's transformational. It's the difference between what we expect from the peak of human capability today and what could become relatively routine tomorrow. Already, we're seeing prototypes, from the US Army's Talos project to commercial ventures like Sarco's Robotics and Hyundai's Exoskeletons, where a person in the suit can lift ridiculously heavy loads, recharge quickly, and potentially even receive real-time data and health monitoring directly to their visor or headset. But let's pause and be real for a second. Does that mean these soldiers are superhuman? Well, in certain physical domains, yes. Imagine being able to sprint as fast at the end of a mission as you did at the start, or being able to stabilize yourself under fire because the suit's gyros keep you from stumbling. There's a parallel here to high-level athletes using high-tech swimsuits or shoes that boost their performance, only now, the stakes are much higher and the effects are far more profound. Think about it like this. Just as the smartphone turned every one of us into a walking knowledge center, instantly connected and informed, the exoskeleton has the potential to turn a regular infantry unit into something that's vastly more than the sum of its parts. This is not superhuman the way comic books describe. You're not getting laser vision or flying, but you are pushing well past the inherited limits of flesh and bone. You're extending what a human being can do with mechanical and digital augmentation. That's a major leap. So, what does this mean for the nature of warfare, for society, and for the very definition of what it means to be human in a combat role? First, there's the obvious tactical advantage. Armies with fully functional exoskeletons could execute maneuvers that are physically impossible for unaugmented forces. They could haul equipment, evacuate wounded, scale obstacles, or even resist injury from shrapnel, thanks to armored components. Imagine disaster relief workers clearing hurricane debris all day and barely breaking a sweat. The military's always been a driver of technological change. Night vision, GPS, drones, all started as defense projects. Exoskeletons could be the next big leap. But it's not just about stamina and strength. With the integration of tactical displays, AI assistance, and real-time comms, these suits start to blur the line between enhanced humans and the early stages of what science fiction calls cyborgs. You might not have a chip in your brain yet, but if your suit can map the battlefield, highlight targets, even predict dangers by analyzing audio or infrared signatures, you start to operate on a level totally different from traditional soldiering. Now, let's be honest, the idea of a superhuman army raises some big ethical and strategic questions, too. Who gets access to this tech? Does it widen the gap between countries or even within armies? Are we turning conflict into an arms race of augmentation rather than raw human bravery or skill? There's even a question of control. If these suits are software-driven, what happens if communications get hacked or the suit malfunctions? And maybe more interestingly, what does this mean for the soldier inside the suit? Throughout history, military service has not just been about power or endurance, it's carried a lot of cultural baggage about heroism, vulnerability, sacrifice. When you can wear basically a powered suit of armor, does it change the psychological cost of warfare? Does it make killing or being sent into danger easier or less human somehow? There's an old saying that technology is never neutral, and I think with exoskeletons, we're staring straight at that challenge. Are we empowering people, or are we turning them into another component in a complex, impersonal machine? And here's a wild angle. What happens when this tech leaves the battlefield? History suggests it will. Military to civilian transition is how a lot of our modern conveniences started. We might see exoskeletons for construction workers, rescue crews, or even for people with disabilities, supercharging human potential for everyone, not just soldiers. If so, soldiers become the test pilots for a new kind of superhumanism, a bridge to a hybrid future where people and machines genuinely collaborate. Let's get philosophical for a minute, too. The concept of a superhuman isn't just physical. Imagine a near-future scenario where exoskeletons are networked, sharing sensor data and AI insights across a team. Now you've got soldiers who are not just physically enhanced, but who operate as a collective, with a level of shared information that fundamentally changes group dynamics and decision-making. Is that a superhuman army? If the definition is doing what humans alone can't, then yes, absolutely. But with every leap in augmentation, there's always the inevitable trade-off. Increased reliance on machines means increased vulnerability to technical sabotage, power loss, or hacking. There's also the danger of escalation. If one side fields an exoskeleton-enhanced force, rivals will scramble to match or outdo them, pushing the cycle of innovation and risk higher and higher. It's one more way technology can be both a shield and a Pandora's box. So, to bring it full circle, are soldiers with exoskeletons the first superhuman army? In some very real, physical ways, yes. We're crossing the threshold between what's naturally possible and what's possible with augmentation. But superhuman army isn't just about gear, it's about how the technology rewires the relationship between people, power, and purpose. The big story here isn't just about hardware, it's about how this shapes society, ethics, and ultimately, our sense of what it means to be human together. And if this topic fascinates you, and especially if you care about how the technological singularity is reshaping not just the battlefield but every part of our lives, don't forget to subscribe. We're just beginning to ask these questions together, and your voice matters in this debate. Let's keep exploring the future, one breakthrough at a time.